Hello, Ellen Eagles. I can't talk really loud because I don't have any meat on my bones. Hey, are you a skeleton or are you a pirate, Mr. Moore? You're really confusing us now. I'm like, well, how am I gonna? I'm going to actually talk like a skeleton. Okay. But, pretty cool avatar, eh? Actually, I have to be truthful with you here. That is the actual picture. That's right from the webcam. I've been really losing weight since last time you saw me. Yeah. Anyway, Mr. Moore, let's get serious. We have a video to do. Let's bring down the screen. Bring it down. And here we go with our wonderful, wonderful objective. And I'm going to go ahead and pull out my magic pen. It says here that we're going to be using basic facts, okay, to approximate. What does the word approximate mean? I mean, it's such a big word. Approximate is just another way of estimating, getting close to an answer, but we're not looking for the exact answer. Okay, we're going to be approximating the decimal quotients, which you should be familiar now that with quotients, quotients is the answer to a division problem. Decimal refers that it's not going to be a whole number. We're going to have a whole number part and a decimal part. This is going to be with 2-digit divisors. Okay, remember that divisor, again, it's the number that basically decides how the dividend is going to be divided. So in this case, the decimal dividend, probably what we're going to have. And then reasoning about the placement of the decimal point. So this is our objective. This is our purpose. I meant purpose. You didn't hear that. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so he's red. I don't know. Whoa, I'm liking that. And it says that this is the application problem. The application problem simply refers to the problem that is going to show you how a particular skill, math skill you've learned, can apply to a real problem. And so this is going to be like a review from, I believe it was lesson 24. Okay? Now let's go ahead and get started. It said Mrs. Hines spent $12 on 30 bus tokens for the field trip. What was the cost of 12 tokens? Okay, so I guess a token, maybe that's a word to describe, I don't know, as a token. You need one token per person. We really don't know. This is just the kind of one of the units that they're using. But what's most important probably here is that we actually have $12 on 30 bus tokens. If you think of this, and this is why it's important to get information down as quickly as you can. So this information is what we know. And it's in a key part in the first step in solving a problem is understanding what information do we have. We have this information. We can say this is, forget my S here, we can say this is definitely true. Okay, so what we need to do is determine, to find out the part, is how much then would it be for 12 of these? Well, just looking at this, I'm thinking, well, if we had actually 12 bus tokens, it'd be really easy, right? You'd be like, Mr. Warren, pick me. Yeah, okay, it'd be $1 a token. Go ahead and set up an equation. That's probably the best way. We're looking at that problem and thinking, okay, well, if it's $12 for 30 bus tokens, I need to determine how much that would be per token. So I would need to divide the $12 by the 30. So I'm not going to use I could use a standard algorithm, but I'm looking at that 30, and I'm going to tell you what I see. I see, yes, 3 times 10 in that problem. So I'm going to go ahead and divide the 30, but I'm going to do it this way. Something we've done before, okay, because we can go ahead and rewrite the, that didn't work out nicely. No, siree. Come here, eraser. Oh, yes, the eraser saves the day. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put our 2. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to divide this by, you guessed it, the 3 times 10. Because that's what 30 is. Now you can see we have some friendly facts there. $12 divided by 3 would be $4, right? And that's going to be 4. And then we're going to divide that $4 by 10, because that's what we have left here. Remember, it's not times 10 here. We divided by the 3, and we need to divide by the 10 as well, giving us just a measly 40 cents a token because we moved the decimal place one place that way. So this is what it's going to be per token. Okay, even though it looks kind of like an N. So that seems pretty easy enough, except some of you may be thinking, whoa, are we done with the problem already? And it's like, well, actually we're not. Because you see, all we've determined basically that is that the per token is 40 cents. We need to determine how many it would, or how much it would cost for 12. So we'll take our 12. Let's multiply that by 40. Now, I'm going to put my 40, but I'm going to set it up this way. That way I can just bring my 0 down right away. Now I can multiply the rest. Now I have $480. Oh, that seems like so much. But you see, we have a decimal point that we have to take care of. We're going to have to multiply that by 100 here. And then we're going to divide by 100 to bring it back in. Now it's $4.80. Is that reasonable? Well, let's think about this for a second. For 30 bus tokens, it would be $12. So therefore, it would make sense that 15 of these bus tokens would be half. If half of 30 is 15, half of $12 is 6. So 15 bus tokens would be $6, and I have 12. That's a little bit less than the 15, so that's less than $6. That answer seems very reasonable to me. Okay, and that's one of the things we do with math all the time is we check for reasonableness of answer. Okay, let's move on to the next page. Ooh, another screen. I'm hiding everything today. Here's our objective still there at the top. Oh, here we go. Oh, looks like a little photo. There's Day of the Dead. Okay, so let's look at what we've done before. You may recall, like Module 1, we were rounding our decimal factors to estimate the product. And what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be actually estimating quotients now by rounding the whole and the divisor. So let's go ahead and start with this one here. So if we had, let's do 39.1. And we're going to divide that by 19. Okay, so just as we did before, we're going to go ahead and let's round the divisor first. Okay, so here what we have is basically we have 19, and that's the closest to 20. So we'll go ahead and just put 20. Okay, and then looking at this, you can see that basically what we're saying then is we have something here, okay, divided by 20. Okay, so we need to also round the 39.2, which probably a lot of you see that that's easy enough, Mr. Roy. That's 40 divided by 20, which again, you keep looking at that, and that's like 2 powers of 10. That's really just 4 divided by 2. If you notice that power of 10 there, and then of course that's going to equal 2. Okay, simple enough. All right, let's just kind of section this guy off over here real quick, and now let's go ahead and go to, so now let's look at 3.91 divided by 17. Now, this here then must also equal, if we have if we have that 39.1 divided by 19, we determine that to be 2, which only because we rounded this number here. So then now let's look at this one. Now think of the size here of this this dividend here based on what we just did. So we had 39.1. Now we have 3.91. Okay. So even though the digits are the same, but as you can see that there's 1/10, right, the size of the first one, because that decimal place moved over one time. It's 1/10 the size. So kind of think of that the quotient that we get here is going to be 1/10 of the size of the first one. So if the answer here that we arrived to, which was 2, then we know that our answer is going to be 1/10 of that size, or probably going to be equivalent to 2/10. Exactly, because it's the number itself here, the number that we're dividing here, the dividend, is actually 1/10 of that value. Okay, so let's look at this here. If we did 4 divided by 20, okay, now how would we find this estimated quotient looking at this number here? Well, we could kind of think of this as, well, that's 4 divided by, and that's going to be 4 divided by 10 divided by 2. And I say this because 20 is 10 times 2. Therefore, we're actually saying that it's 4 divided by 10 and then divided by 2. Well, let's go ahead and continue this, and I'm going to draw my little arrow here. Come on down. Okay, and here we could go ahead and think of it. Well, divide 4 by 10. Now you've suddenly you have 0.4. Okay, and now we're dividing that 4/10 by 2, which is giving us half of that, which is 2/10. Okay, everybody okay with that? See, the 4, basically we just simply said that 20 was 10 times 2, and then that way we were able to divide out the 10 first and then divide the 2. Therefore, this is going to equal 2/10. Okay, and there's two different ways you could factor this out. You could have factored it out, 10 times 2 or 2 times 10. It wouldn't make any difference. The order wouldn't have been important here as we were able to divide it out. So now this gives us a really good point here, so we can start doing actual work. So let's go ahead and flip to the next page. Yes, we got another screen. Come on down. Oh, it's some doggies here. How nice. I forgot where I left off here. I like this one. Okay. So let's go ahead and write another problem down. Let's look at this one here. Let's look at 63 and 6/10 divided by 73. Okay. Now, here, if we were to actually do this out, you can almost see it. Okay. You can see the common, because 9 times 7 is 63. Immediately, you should start to see that. So what we're going to do is, let's do an estimate. We usually do the estimate for the divisor first, so let's do that, 70. And then we'll just leave this here. Let's estimate this number. We could estimate it to, you might say, well, this is closer to 64. But 64 is not very friendly, so we're just going to leave it at 63. See, we're still getting really close to the actual number. This way, you can see 6, forgot my decimal point here, because this is 63.6. So, I don't need a decimal point. What am I trying to put one in there for? Come on, eraser. Help me out. Okay, so we'll do that. I'll get rid of that. Okay, come back up here, pen. Thank you. Okay, so we'll put that 63 here. So 63 divided by 70 then is going to be 7. Oh yeah, we have our power of 10 there. So this is actually 63 divided by 10 times 7. Okay. And so we're going to divide each one of these out. So think of it this. I don't want to confuse you, so let's go ahead and do this again. Let's hit divided by 10 and then divided by 7. This would make it 6.3 if you divide it by 10. The decimal was 1 over. Now we do divide by 7. Okay? And again, this might make it a little bit easier here because now you can see this is 0.9. Okay? Right this way. Now, that's another example. Now what happens when we move the decimal? So if we move the decimal here, see, this number is going to be 1/10 the size of this one was. So that means our answer should be as well. So I'm going to go ahead and see if that's true. I'm going to go ahead and put my 9/100 is 1/10 less the value of 9/10. So therefore, I'm doing this because since this number here changed, you can see that 63 and 6/10 is 10 times greater than 6 and 36/100. It's just a decimal place it's moved. The number's larger. So let's see if that's actually true. So same thing rounding. So we'll put our 70. See, now we're going to round this, and we're probably just going to want to round this to, let's do the 6.3, because we want that 6.3 to work with us when we look at that 7. That's going to come in handy, because 9 times 7 is 63. Okay, now we can go ahead and do the same thing that we did before. Now we have 6.3, and we put divided by 10 divided by 7, because this is 70. 10 times 7 is 70. Now suddenly we have 0.63, put a 0 in front maybe for clarity, and then we're going to divide that by 7. And now you can see we end up with our 900s, because I'm going to check my work. Times 7 is 63, carry the 6, 0. Here's our 6. 2 decimal points, and then we come back in. And that basically uh, covers that, I do believe. And I think that also covers our video. Hey, you got a cool face, buddy. Look at it. He too is missing a little bit of meat on his bone. Okay, this pretty much covers this lesson. The rest is something that we will do in class. And that is this video. Adios, amigos.